Hi, and welcome to the Love How Deep podcast with Brian and Heather Mayer. Our purpose is to equip married couples like you with resources that rely on the transformative power of God's Word to strengthen your relationship.
Hey there, friends. We are so happy that you are choosing to tune into this today, whether on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform. We are so
Platform,
happy.
I like
Is
it.
that what it is?
That's
a
a platform.
Yes. Welcome to the Love How Deep podcast. This is episode number 55. What did you call that earlier?
The double nickel.
Double nickel.
The double nickel. It's the speed limit, it used to be the speed limit on the highway. A little bit faster now.
Yes. Well, today we are going to talk about the 4 seasons of marriage. And I love that, to compare your marriage to the seasons.
Yep.
Because seasons are cyclical, right? It goes around and around, and we can always expect that after spring comes summer, and then summer is fall, and fall is winter. So you always have another season to look forward to, which is good, because when you get tired of being frozen, you're ready to thaw out a little bit. Oh, spring is around the corner and all of that good stuff. So, that's a cyclical thing, And so we want to take some time to compare marriage to the seasons, that it goes through seasons. It goes through cyclical moments of like the seasons of spring, summer, winter, fall, and winter.
Yeah.
I know the seasons yet.
Yeah, and it really can be something where you look at a micro and you kind of micro look at your life, and you kind of have little mini versions of the seasons, and then you can look out over, hopefully if you ever get to be married for 50, 60 years, you might have a decade worth of a season.
Right.
So, and it's nice because, like you just said, if you're not happy in a certain season, just wait a little bit. You're probably going to need another one.
It's going to change. Change. It doesn't mean every 3 months the season is going to change that you're in. Who knows how long it's going to take, but it's going to change.
Yeah.
So.
And I love this because when I was a kid, I was just an astronomy buff, and I just loved astronomy, and of course the Earth and the seasons and the changes and the.
Why does it happen? How does it happen? And you love that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think this is perfect, and I give you a lot of credit to this because you were the one that you wrote a blog all about the seasons of marriage, and we thought this was fantastic enough to let's do a podcast episode on this. So
there you go. I hope y'all enjoy it.
So with that. Let's see, I'm the one talking about spring, right? So yeah, spring is all about new beginnings. It's about the freshness. It's about things that are coming up. When you think about flowers coming up out of the ground.
It's regrowth. It's just regrowth after, the cold winter.
After some dormancy, right? And, when I think about that in terms of your marriage, it could be maybe you just got married, that you could be in the springtime of your marriage when you just got married. It could be that you just had children, or you just had your first child. That might be a springtime event.
Right.
Maybe you just moved. That's a new kind of a fresh beginning.
A new job for someone.
Right.
It's a new beginning. Fresh.
Yes. So yeah.
Yeah.
And so, when things are new, there's a lot of uncertainty. I know when our daughter was born, I remember after a few days thinking that, I couldn't do this. I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't be a father because she wouldn't stop crying. And I just
season in your life.
Right. And so I just had to realize I had to just take a breath and realize it's going to be okay.
Right.
And these things are new.
Right.
And sometimes, you just kind of have to roll with it a little bit. So
these new things that we experience in our lives, it takes time to get used to them. It just takes time, and we have to allow ourselves that time to get used to whatever it is that's new in our lives right now.
Yeah, that's right. And I love the verse in the Bible that I think really goes with this one. It's in Zechariah, I believe it's 4:10, where it basically just says, don't despise this fall beginnings because the Lord rejoices in those beginnings. And so while we might look at it from our earthly perspective and say, oh, this is no good. I don't like this. This is a big change, or this isn't working. But he's looking at it and saying, no, I love when things are new. And I love when, I can give my children something new, something different to see how they react, to see how they respond.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Something just popped into my head. What happens in the springtime? The trees are blooming and the flowers are blooming. Pollen. Pollen happens. We all hate the pollen. We're all allergic to pollen. We
It's
get all
bad here in Richmond.
nasty.
It's horrible.
It is horrible.
Rough.
But we need the pollen, the butterflies and the bees, all of those precious little pollinators out there to create more of the things that we love, whether it's for fruits and vegetables or whether it's for flowers, the apples growing on the trees. We actually have to have the pollen. So if you're at a springtime and you're just not loving every element of that springtime, stick it out. Because sometimes you need that as a little bit of growth. What is the Lord trying to teach you?
Right.
It's whatever it is. I think each season has its own type of growing pains.
Yeah.
And so you might experience with new beginnings in the springtime, some sort of a growing pain,
Right.
and how can you
sinus congestion for you with the pollen. Yeah, that was a good analogy.
Yeah. And so, for you and your spouse, your family, take advantage of these new beginnings and what can you learn from it together? How can you grow stronger, closer together?
Yeah. That's good. All right. And you want to take this into
Yes. You move it to the summertime. Summertime is probably the busiest time for families all around because you've got vacation, you've got sports that your children are involved in, and he's got, a lot of children, they're all involved in a lot of different sports, not always the same thing. So you're constantly going and going and going and going. Your calendar is so full. You're like, okay, could we just clone me to do all of these things?
It's crazy because you think summertime should be a time of
relax.
Let's sip some pina coladas by the swimming pool or whatever. But
and there might be some of that, but summertime is very busy. And if you're, thinking about your yard, you're cutting your yard all the time. You're trimming back trees. You're, maybe you're well, that would be springtime. I was going to say spring cleaning your house. Who knows?
Do a summer clean.
A summer clean out of your house.
I was going to say to you, I feel like I interrupted you there. But you used to, I remember several years ago, so you're a school teacher, obviously. Yes. I know that, right? And so several years ago, it would just be, there wasn't a whole lot going on for you in the summertime, but I swear it seems like the last several years, you are just wall to wall. You're doing more, it feels like in the summertime, with the tutoring and the summer camp and I don't even know what else, probably
friends in life.
Yeah, friends in life. And it just is jammed. And then you get to the point where you get to August and you're like, what the heck happened to my summer?
Right. Summer is gone. And do we even remember that vacation that we took, And then, just holidays around kind of the spring, summertime, like Memorial Day and July 4th and then Labor Day, and it's just it. And then your family vacations and who's coming to visit you. There's always something I feel like happening in the summertime that are all good things, but they can also drive a wedge between you because you're not taking time and being intentional with your spouse or with your family to make sure that you're spending quality time together. And expressing your love for each other the way that your spouse feels most loved. Those busy things can get in the way and just really cause that rift between you. So you have to, if you know that, if you sense that happening, you have to do something about it. And really just think about, what do I need to do? I need to make more space and carve out some more time and space. What am I trying to say? For my spouse right now.
Right. Maybe just slow down a little.
Slow down a little bit.
Take in those moments, maybe more fully present.
Yes.
In situations instead of always being a go, 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 and your mind's here and your mind's there and it's everywhere.
Yes. I think so. And I think if you do find yourself in such a busy cycle right then, that season is so busy for you that you sense that it's pulling the two of you apart, you might need a prune. Remember those roses that we had in our front yard at the old town?
We'd let them go for a while.
I hated pruning those roses.
They didn't look very good.
No, they were pretty when they first bloomed, but it's a lot of work. So they looked pretty once because I was not deadheading. So, but I say that to encourage you to look at your stuff in life and prune. What do you need to kind of get rid of and say, you know what? Nope, it's okay. I'm not going to do that. And it's hard, but you have to be okay with saying, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Or to even tell your children, we're not doing that. This, like, for instance, or like say Thursday night, it's family night. Nobody makes any plans. We're going to have family dinner. Let's even cook it together. And then let's, let's sit at this thing called a dining room table. Let's eat together.
Well, that's different.
Right. And then play a game of charades when you're done. I don't know. But like, we're just getting so crazy busy, and then we're tired, and we're diving into our, social media and then on our phones and our iPads and everything else. And then thinking, oh, I got to go finish this project for work. It'll just take a little bit. And your whole family is just divided.
Yeah. I can almost feel the tension and the stress as you're talking through all these things. My mind is like,
it's everywhere. And we just want to just pick this thing up and go, okay, I just need to relax. And this is how I'm going to relax. Yeah. Except you're not connecting with the people that you really love the most. Right. So it's okay for him.
Yeah. And I think there's an awesome Bible verse that goes along with this that's going to help us take a breath, relax, take a step back.
Yeah, and this is found in Matthew 11:28-29. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. So I think that's just such a good command and a promise. Like he's commanding us to go to him when we're weary, and he's saying he's going to give us that rest that we need. And I think that's a promise that you can take to the bank,
He's right. And, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Now, okay, Rack, you read that. I did. Okay. I felt the sun coming down on me. So
bring mine.
That's probably a good transition into autumn. And that is really a time that I feel like it's just a time to start to slow down. And I know, if you got kids or you're a teacher, when you go back to school, yes, it can be a little bit of a grind, but hopefully you can start to feel like things slow down a little bit. Maybe you look back on the summer. I know, I keep telling people as I'm scheduling people on my practice, it's like, wow, I thought, didn't the summer, weren't we just in the June? And now here we are, 3 or 4 months later. Right. But it is really a good time to, I think, reflect a little bit on the past, but also prepare for what's ahead.
Right. Right. I think that, in the fall, like if you think about the trees, like they're tired. They've been taken in sunlight, taken in water, and feeding the leaves. So the leaves would stay green and then, and also produce the fruits and the flowers, all of those things. But in the fall, it's like the tree is tired and they stop sort of feeding that food, the water, the sun, but the plant food to the leaves. And that's when the leaves change colors.
Yeah.
And so if you think about that, when maybe you're at a time during your marriage, maybe your season is where you're kind of slowing down and you're kind of going into that resting time. I think, if we think about the earth's need to do that, we need to do that too. Mm-hmm. That's when, we are truly pruning and cutting out some things that we don't need anymore. Mm-hmm. And we're resting. Yeah. And we're saying, okay, this is what I need. I need to rest. I need to reflect. I need to maybe prepare for what's to come. Just really think on those things. And it could be that your autumn is retirement.
True.
Your job has stopped. And so you're reflecting on what you had and thinking forward. What are you going to do next?
Yeah.
So I think autumn is a good time it's a good time to think of that season as autumn of just like resting and enjoying that moment and not getting caught up in I want it to feel like it used to be where I had all these things going for me and now I have nothing. And we get uncomfortable when we don't have anything to look forward to or anything going on. We're resting. We get uncomfortable.
Yeah. I was going to say this could also be a good time to make some goals. Yeah. Think about it. Just like you said, if autumn kind of moving into winter, which we'll talk about in a minute, not right now, but in a moment, we will, making some goals for the next season. This could be a really good time, especially if you are in this place of like starting to slow down and hopefully maybe you do have a little bit more time to maybe think some things through. And, I don't know why I just thought of this too, but it's like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the time that squirrels kind of start to put the nuts away for the winter? So we're just making sure that they're prepared.
Even the honeybees hibernate, and they're getting ready for that. They're storing up all that honey, and sometimes maybe we need to store up some things like our energy or brain power, and for whatever's to come, and just rest. I think rest in Him, and really think about your relationship, your marriage, and are you dreaming together? Are you making goals together? Are you connecting with each other? And maybe if you've been in such a busy point of your life to where you've not connected, you need to make that a priority, that you're going to connect in some way. Yeah. If you're going to go on a date and you're going to go for a walk in the park, you're just going to sit on that park bench, you're going to rest. You're going to listen. What sounds do we hear? Squirrel, bird, hear the wind rustling in the leaves. And what do you smell?
Yeah.
What is good? What do you, just what are your senses feeling?
Yeah, there is something about using all of your senses that can kind of slow your mind, your body down. And I'll never forget, we took a trip to Fort Worth, Texas, which is back on this wall. You can't see it. It's over my head. But and Heather showed me this pond that she went to. Is it a pond or a lake? Probably a lake.
A pond.
Yeah. And
it's
so
pond.
She was just reflecting about she had some difficult things going on in her life, and she got a bucket of fried chicken and a book and
fried chicken.
And you just kind of sat and reflected, and I think you just took some time out, and
I just needed a rest. I needed to rest in that moment because I was in chaos.
Yeah,
I really was, and it was not a good time. I just needed to pull away, get out of my house, and just go rest for a minute. So I like that you kind of brought that, or because we think of a season as being 3 months, but it doesn't have to be. It could be that I took 2 hours out of my day to go rest and rejuvenate. And sometimes that's what you need your season of autumn to be.
Right.
Just a little bit of time to rest, rejuvenate, reflect.
It's a new one.
Yeah.
And the verse that we've got with this one, I actually am going to change this up, and I think I've got this right. Is it Psalm 46:10? You had talked about this the other day, but it's "Be still and know that I am God."
Yes.
I believe that probably is more appropriately than the verse I had selected here earlier. But yeah, it's just, again, learning to be still. But it's not only that, but it's also, let's focus a little bit more on God, during this time as well.
I think so. It's good. It's good. And then you move from autumn. The earth moves from autumn to winter. And the earth is trying to sleep. It's truly, truly resting. It's lying dormant, doing nothing. It's not creating anything new. It's just sleeping.
That's true.
And it's cold.
It's cold. I don't like the cold.
Frozen.
Some people like the cold. I struggle with it the older that I get.
And this one is hard. It's probably the hardest season because you are completely disconnected from each other. There's this emotional distance. You're stuck in a rut.
That's true if it's the winter of your marriage.
Yeah, right? Winter of your marriage. You're just,
It's not only just the time. It could be you're just in retirement, sort of the last stages of your life. But I think what you're maybe referring to is there could be an emotional winter.
Your hard seasons when you two are just going at it like this and somebody's got their foot out the door already. That is a winter season.
Right.
You are not connecting. You're not communicating well. You're just going at it constantly. That's a winter season.
We had a little bit of a winter season probably when we were trying to parent and we were not seeing eye to eye on that. And
I think everybody goes through it. And I think, I always say that see, that's one of my crutch words. If you saw episode 50, you heard us talking about our crutch words.
And I don't have any. Just kidding.
So if you find yourself in that winter season, I want you to keep in mind that spring is coming and that while the earth is resting, it's resting because of what's to come. So you're in a winter season going through the hardest time in your marriage. Don't lose over. If God is working, if you are calling out to God and you are truly saying, God, I want your will to be done in our lives right now, whatever it is that's happening, We want your will to be done. God, give me wisdom, give me grace, forgive us. And you're working to turn back to each other as well, then that rebirth is going to come.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to reignite that passion. He's going to draw you closer together. But you have to sometimes wait it out. It's like we have to wait out this, frozen tundra in Richmond in the wintertime. You do have to wait that out, but during that time you have to call on the Lord and you have to trust that He's going to do it. He's going to do it. It requires us to have faith in Him and to trust Him and to pray. He's going to do it.
Yeah.
So I don't wish you to lose hope in that time,
Right. Really everything that we've been talking about, we're talking about cycles.
Yeah.
What does a cycle mean? It means that things start and they move through and progress and they come to an end, but then they start over again.
It just keeps going.
And that's kind of the way, it's like riding a bicycle.
Yes.
The wheels continue to turn, but you do have to pedal.
You do.
You got to put
So
in
you have to do a little bit of
work.
work. You got to steer it.
Sometimes you go downhill, maybe you don't have to do as much work. Maybe that means you're in kind of the summer season or whatever. Those winter seasons, you might have to do a little bit more pedaling. And I don't know why I just thought of this, but
Do you have another one?
I said this the other day. I was like, I was talking about our cat, and I was like, is he putting on the winter weight? And then you said, well, it's not really winter yet. So I said, but I remember that used to be a thing. People would talk about that all the time. Oh, I got the winter weight on, and I got to get it off. And so what that basically means is, But in the wintertime, a lot of times we kind of slow down, we go dormant, and then, we kind of put on a little bit of the weight or whatever. So, but we've got to, maybe sometimes we do need to put a little bit of energy into the winter time, if things aren't going well, because what do they say? The definition of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And sometimes if we're not careful, the winter of our marriage can be that way.
Right. And even though during the winter the earth is sleeping, it's lying dormant, don't let your marriage lie dormant. Like, yes, you're in a winter season. It is harsh. It is hard. It's like nothing you've ever been through before, but there is work that you have to do. And if that means you reach out for help, that's what you do. You've got to do some work there. And I just want to encourage you with this verse, our favorite one, Isaiah 43:18. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. That past of like, remember when it used to be so good and happy and he loved me or she loved me and thought that I was the greatest? Yeah. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing. It springs up in you now. Do you not perceive it? It's God saying, do you see it? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. He says, I'm making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. And I just think that's such a good verse to about and to stand on and to trust that God is doing some work there.
Yeah.
Even if we don't see it.
That's a good one.
He's working.
Yeah. It's probably a good place to end, I would say. And I don't know that we really ever talked about who was going to wrap this episode up, but I guess I can kind of jump in here and just say, well, number one, thank you so much for watching. But number two, we have a bunch of, we call them date night activities. And Heather is stopping me.
Because there's one more thing to share.
Okay. All right. We're going to rewind.
Just rewind that. Okay. Just one more thing that I wanted to read to encourage you. Ecclesiastes 3:1-4. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. And I just believe that everything that's mentioned in there, that is what we go through in life. That is our life. And we have to know that there's a time for everything and it will end and it will change into something new. And are you ready for that? Are you ready to take that next step forward, whatever it is that you need to do? And, just trust God in whatever season you're in.
Yeah, I think life to me is all about, the only thing that stays the same is that life changes. So that's both good and bad, I suppose. If you're in a wonderful season, we don't want that to change, of course. But again, change is healthy. But if we're not in such a good place, then just know that, yes, change is around the corner and And I love that passage in Isaiah where God says, see, I'm doing a new thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Just look to him. So, okay, with that, now, do I get to wrap
You
up?
can wrap it up.
Sorry,
Yeah.
right. I really think the only thing I wanted to mention is we have some awesome date night activities. They're free, and you can go out to our website, and we'll make sure we put this in the show notes wherever you're getting this podcast. So we'll have a link there that you click on. You get those date night ideas. You'll also be signed up to get our newsletter. What else? Make sure you subscribe to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to it on audio, or if you're getting it on YouTube and you're seeing our lovely faces, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Follow us on Facebook.
Yes. Yeah. All good. I think that's everything. All right. We thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Take care until then.